Hello everyone and welcome to Miss Liz's Storytime Online. So like all of our story times, we always begin with our hello song. We clap and say hello. So we clap and say hello, we clap and say hello with our friends at Storytime. We clap and say hello. We wave and say hello, we wave and say hello with our friends at Storytime. We wave and say hello. Hello, welcome to Storytime. So we have our first little song for the day, and it goes with our theme. So our theme is about a certain kind of bird. And this bird is usually around at night. It likes to make the noise, woo, woo. Do you know what bird I'm talking about? Yes, it's an owl. And here is a little stuffed owl. So if we look at our little owl, we see what? We see he has big round eyes, right? And he's got a sharp little beak for his nose. And he's got these little feet we call talons because they usually have little nails for grabbing things. And then he's got his wings, which don't flap very well, but and his tail, right? So we're gonna sing a song about an owl, okay? So our first thing we do is we take our hands and we make big owl eyes, right? So we go, there's a wide-eyed owl with a pointed nose, point the nose, point your nose, and pointed ears, and claws for toes. He sits up high in a tree. He looks at me and he looks at you. He flaps his wings and he says, hoo, hoo. Very good. You want to do that again? Okay. So, there's a wide-eyed owl with a pointed nose, pointed ears, and claws for toes. He sits up high in a tree. He looks at me and he looks at you. He flaps his wings and he says, hoo, hoo. Very good. So our story for today has an owl in it, going with our theme, and it's called Little Owl's Night by Dirya Srinivasan. Little Owl's Night. And look how big his eyes are. Yeah, those are such big owl eyes. Little Owl's Night. So I said before that owls like to be out at night, right? So I wonder what he's going to do on his night adventure. Little Owl was having a wonderful night. What's that? It's a big snail and some flowers, yeah. And there's Little Owl. He watched the funny possum family waddle along in a neat row. How many possums are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hedgehog sniffed around the mushroom patch. Skunk was eating berries because he could find no snails. Can you find the snails? Yeah, right there. 1, 2, 3. By the river, beavers gnawed at trees. Turtle hid in her shell as fireflies danced all around. Little Owl visited his friend the raccoon. As they sat in the clover, fog rolled in and hovered just overhead. Moths fluttered toward the moon. Silver dust fell from their wings. Little Owl wanted to follow, but it was time to head home. On the way, Little Owl flew by Grumbly Cave. Bear was inside, snoring up a storm. Do you guys snore? Oh my, I snorted pretty bad. Yeah, he's snoring up a storm. Wake up, Bear. Don't sleep all night, Little Owl sang. I want to show you the moon. But the bear kept snoring as usual. Little Owl flew home to his tree, gazing at the sky. He wondered if the bear had ever seen stars. Little Owl sat on his branch. How he loved the night forest. Frog croaked softly. Cricket chirped smartly. Little Owl heard rustling at the foot of his tree. Fox had come to say hello. And who's sleeping down there? It's a bunny. Sleeping underground. It was late now. The bats were gliding home. Mama, Little Owl whispered, tell me again how night ends. How does night end? Right, the sun comes up. The moon and the stars fade to ghosts, Mama said. Spider webs turn to silver threads. Dewdrops sparkle on leaves and the grass like tiny stars come down. Moonflowers close and morning glories open. So the moonflowers are these white ones and the morning glories are these bright blue ones. So moonflowers are open at night and morning glories are open in the day. Sorry. The moonflowers close and morning glories open. The sky brightens from black to blue, from blue to red, from red to gold. Why is it brightening? The sun's coming up. Yeah, it's sunrise. The rooster crows, the crows caw, and the day begins, said Mama. Cock-a-loo-loo. It's for the rooster, and the crows go caw, caw, caw. But Little Owl did not hear. Oh wait, who's here? 1, 2, 3. We got 3 little sheep. But Owl did not hear. He was fast asleep. The end. So yeah, owls are awake at night when you or I are asleep, and then they go to sleep during the day when we wake up. So we have a song with some movements for us to do as our last song of the day, okay? It's called Just Like an Owl. So we get to do some stuff that owls do, okay? So first, we're gonna make our wings, because owls flap their wings, right? So we can flap our wings and fly around, okay? So flap your wings and fly around, fly around, fly around. Flap your wings and fly around, just like an owl. Good. Now you're gonna open your eyes big and wide, like this. Open your eyes big and wide, big and wide, big and wide. Open your eyes big and wide, just like an owl. Good. Okay, now we're gonna hop along. So we go. When owls land on the ground, they hop. So we go. Land on the ground and hop around, hop around, hop around. Land on the ground and hop around, just like an owl. Good. And here's our last one. So we're gonna turn our head and say hoo hoo like an owl, okay? So turn your head and say hoo hoo. Say hoo hoo. Say hoo hoo. Turn your head and say hoo hoo, just like an owl. Good. You want to do that again? Okay. So what do we start with? Wings, right? So flap your wings and fly around, fly around, fly around. Flap your wings and fly around, just like an owl. And then we open our eyes big and wide, big and wide, big and wide. Open our eyes big and wide, just like an owl. Good. Now we're gonna hop along, okay? So land on the ground and hop along, hop along, hop along. Land on the ground and hop along, just like an owl. And last one, we turn our head and say hoo hoo. So turn our head and say hoo hoo. Say hoo hoo. Say hoo hoo. Turn our head and say hoo hoo, just like an owl. Very good. So I hope you enjoyed our owl story time for today. And we always end with our goodbye song. We wave goodbye like this. So thank you for coming to Storytime. And we wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. With our friends at Storytime, we wave goodbye like this. Goodbye. Thank you for coming to Storytime. Goodbye.